Hey guys, this is just another part of the series of things that I have learned during my first year as a contractor. Not so much that I've learned this one, but just knowing how important it is and seeing the work that some other contractors are doing. I'm not trying to slam anybody here. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just letting you know this is how I've chosen to do business, and I'm not saying that I'm any better or worse than anybody else. But some people have asked me about the process of pulling a permit. This is one of the things that I had never personally gone and pulled a permit for jobs before, because I worked for a company and they always did it. I just had to go do the job. So going and pulling the permit is as simple as going to the local planning department of that city or county, and sometimes you may have to fill out and pay for a business license for that city. That business license might last a year, it might last 3 years. A lot of times that city business license only cost me less than $100. So once that's paid for, then you don't have to keep paying for it, as long as it's, just once a year or every 3 years or whatever. Some cities and counties did not require me to pull a business permit at all, a business license at all, and they were just able to give me the building permit. So when I go into the department, typically you just show up at the front desk and say, hey, I need a building permit for HVAC change out, and they will ask for your the address of the unit that you're working on. They're going to give you a packet, and you're basically just going to let them know, hey, this is the scope of the work that we're doing. We're doing it at this address. We're going to do this job. It's basically a like-for-like change out of a residential HVAC system, including or not including the duct work. Am I modifying anything? Are we, big things that they need to know is, like, are you changing it from a heat pump all electric system to a gas electric system? Are you running a new gas line? If so, you may need to draw out a schematic for them, what that work's going to look like, what the gas line's going to look like, what the sizing of that gas line's going to be, things like that. If you're going to have to run a new electrical circuit, you may have to diagram out on a separate piece of paper, here's what the house looks like, here's where I'm going to run my electrical. It doesn't have to be an engineer's drawing. They just want to know, what it's going to look like. And with the gas lines, they may, once you get your permit and you've started the job, then once you put in the gas line, they may need to come out and actually test that gas line to make sure it's airtight. And so it's like a separate visit for them. You'll set up the gas pipe to their specifications, usually with a gauge with a bicycle tire pressure port on there, surface port. You just pump it up to like 12 psi and leave it overnight. The inspector comes the next day and he's just making sure that the gas pressure is still there, or that the air pressure is still there, and it's a very easy test. So once you've filled out the documents, and the documents also include things like maybe what's your business permit number or business license number, but they also want to know, like, your workers' comp. There's always going to be like this workers' comp form. At least here in California, I have to either tell them, I'm an owner builder and I'm the owner of the house and I'm doing the work, which that's not it for me. I have to let them know that I'm the only one doing the work, and I as the sole owner and operator of the business do not require workers' comp, or I need to let them know yes, all of my employees, while we were on the job site, will be covered under workers' compensation policy number this by this carrier. This policy expires on this date. And let's see, what else? Pretty much just saying, these packets will say something along the lines of, you get this permit, you're buying this permit, and we need to, we have 180 days to have it inspected after the job is done. They don't want you pulling the permit after you've done the job either. So that's kind of a big no-no. Meaning you'll go do the job, and then you'll do the job on the weekend, and then Monday morning you'll go pull the permit. I know that's kind of a no-no. There's not much that they can say or do about it. It's just a fact. I don't know. So once you've got your permit in hand, then they're gonna give it to you. They're basically gonna give you a packet after you've paid for it. They're just gonna give you a packet, and then so that packet, you just need to display. I always just throw it up in the front of my window of my truck while I'm on the job, and so it's there to display. So if a building inspector comes by the job site, they'll see that I have my work permit right up in the front of the truck, and it's not a big deal. Nobody's ever stopped by and said, "Hey, how's the job coming along?" Nobody. They just let us work. It's not a. It just makes it easy if it's on display for everyone to see right there. If you're not pulling a permit, or if you're not having the permit displayed, like when I was working at the other company, they did make a practice of selling the job, having the job installed, and then just having the process of getting the permit pulled underway. We didn't quite ever have the permit in our hand until maybe a couple days after the job. Well, that city inspector came out to our job and actually red tagged our job, told us we had to stop what we're doing and wait until we had the permit on display to commence. So that was an early day. Pulling a permit to me is not a pain in the ass. It takes a couple hours. It takes an hour, 2 hours to go down there and get it done. But to me, it's all a system of checks and balances. This is what I tell people all the time. When I tell people that I pulled a permit, I don't need you guys to go pull the permit. It's not a, some contractors will tell them, I'm just bidding the job. You got to go pull the permit though. I try to make it easy on my customers by going and pull the permit myself, so that all they have to do during this whole entire process is A, just be there so I can get in and start the job. B, call for the permit, call to be inspected after the job is done, and that's it. That's all they have to do. So when we do a job, I'm just trying to make sure that it's not to me, it's not a pain in the ass for anybody to have to pull a permit. It's all just a system of checks and balances. I honestly can sleep better at night knowing that I've installed a system. I know I'm going to do a good job of putting that system in. But what if I forget something? I mean, I'm not perfect. So to me, it's just nice having an extra set of eyes on my job saying, you forgot the P-trap, right? It's a brainless thing, right? Oh my God, I forgot the P-trap or something. I haven't done that yet, but I'm just thinking out loud. What if you didn't put a gas sediment trap on before the gas valve? I see some guys that are installing gas flex right into the furnace cabinet. And our California building code says hard pipe has to be piped into. You can have a gas flex on there, and safety shutoff, but you got to have hard pipe going into the cabinet of the furnace. I believe a lot of the manufacturers specify that, and local building codes. So once again, it's just nice to have that extra set of eyes on the job. I had to go back just recently on a job that I did. The valve caps, the no vent valve caps, were left off of the heat pump on the outside. I know we didn't do that. My Title 24 guy did, thanks, because we left the job and had it inspected afterwards by the Title 24 guys, but they forgot to put the no vent caps back on the heat pump on the outside, so we had to go back on a callback, and now that lady has to go back and have it inspected again just to check that off. So to answer your question, somebody had left me this question on one of my videos for this series. No, it's not a pain in the butt for me. I actually can sleep better at night knowing that somebody has come by and inspected our jobs. It really does make me feel better knowing that. And I think that it makes me a better technician too. I feel like it makes me more accurate. It makes me accountable to something else. You know, as my own boss, as the owner of a company, people can get pretty high on their horse, like, I'm the boss, you know, like, I'm doing it my way, you know. Well, this still holds me accountable to somebody, and I kind of need that kind of stuff, you know. So I hope that helps. Pulling a permit, not a big deal. Sometimes you need a sometimes you need a city business license in order to pull that permit. You can do it all at the same office a lot of times, and it's usually a really streamlined process, because it's not just you that it has to go through this, but many other contractors have to do it. So they try not to make it, you know, you got to go over here for your business license, you got to go over here for that. They're usually very helpful at the building department, and I think they're helpful there because they want contractors to pull the permits. You got to pull permits for, you know, any kind of like modifications that you're going to do to your house, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, anything like that. You're going to need a permit for, technically. You know, honestly, like, there are probably some jobs out there that I have not pulled a permit for. It was a small electrical job or something like that, and I didn't pull a permit for it. I mean, you know, I don't, you know, I mean, that's just, I think a lot of contractors probably do that. It's the big stuff that I'm trying to make sure that I'm being held accountable for. If I'm running a new circuit, if I'm installing a new HVAC system, if I'm just changing out a furnace or just changing out the AC with the coil or something, I'm gonna pull that permit. And you know, it's not it might be a small job to you, but there's a lot of variables that can go wrong: condensation, electrical, plumbing, you know, gas and all that stuff. So just having the extra set of eyes on there is very helpful, I think. So okay guys, well, that's the end of this video for you know, things that I've been learning as I've been going along this first year in business. It's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to many, many more. Send in your questions down below. Any questions you guys might have, I'm more than willing to share my ideas. You know, once again, I am just a new company. I do not know everything. I'm just an extra set of, just another set of ideas out there. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know you guys' ideas, experiences you guys have had. Definitely interested in hearing all that kind of stuff. So okay, well, have a good one.